going to call this meeting to order on this day, Monday, March 14th, 2016. If Clerk Konecki could please call the roll for us tonight.
Yes, Trustee Aiello. Trustee Bolfus.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Taglia.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bullwinkle.
Here. All please rise for the pledge. I'll lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could ask you to remain standing for one more second, I'm going to have Trustee Wagner lead us in the prayer tonight.
Thank you, Madam President. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. For those of us with us here tonight, we have agendas in the rack that's attached to the door coming into the chamber. So if anybody here with us tonight did not get an agenda, you can go grab one from the pile we have right outside the chamber. Okay, we're on the Committee of the Whole. Item number 3 is amendments of the agenda. Does anybody on the board have any amendments to the Committee of the Whole agenda? I'd like to make one suggestion. We have a guest here tonight from DuPage County Board, and that item is item number 6 on the agenda. Would you all be opposed to us moving that up to before the discussion on the budget?
Madam President,
So how do y'all feel about that? Yes.
I'll move to reorder number 6 to whichever position.
Okay.
Madam President, I'll second that.
Okay. Do we need a roll call vote on that or just consensus?
Just voice vote.
Okay, we can do a vote on that, just to be clear for the record. So we'll do a voice vote.
Okay, Trustee.
Voice vote means
Oh,
one
Just,
vote, yea, aye or nay.
oh, okay, we'll do a
Voice
voice.
vote?
Yeah.
We'll just do a voice vote then. Aye. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just wanted it for the record. Okay, good. Now we got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, we got that. Okay, now we're going to move then item number 6. Consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing acceptance of the Cool DuPage initiative and goals as charter community in partnership with DuPage County. We're moving you up. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
we'll get that. We'll get it all worked out.
This resolution supports the common goal of the Village of Villa Park and the County of DuPage under the April 14, 2015 DuPage County Energy Conservation and Air Quality Improvement Plan. The overall goal of Cool DuPage is to reduce countywide greenhouse gases emissions 10% by 2020 and 20% by 2030. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. So then I'm going to bring Liz Chaplin up from our DuPage County Board. You want to officially introduce yourself and kind of take us through, and then we'll see if there's any questions and comments from the public.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's great to be back in Villa Park. I spent a lot of time here last spring in the Citizens Fire Academy, which was an excellent program, and I really enjoyed it. So it's good to be back in Villa Park. I did want to talk a little bit about Cool DuPage and what it has to offer the village. So the regional benefits to Cool DuPage is that we can save the region approximately $100 million annually by advocating participation in energy efficient grants and rebate programs. If target greenhouse emission reductions are met, 2.3 million metric tons of CO2 will be removed from the region's air. So what role the municipalities play in this is DuPage County is seeking out the municipalities as partners in this 15-year program. Municipalities that adopt a model partner resolution pledge their leadership and support in their respective communities to promote energy efficiency and improved air quality for residents, commercial businesses, and local governments. So What's required by the community is to advocate for the goals of Cool DuPage by helping promote the existing energy efficiency resources available to local residents, businesses, and industries, and local governments. In addition, report energy efficiencies efforts undertaken by the village and any energy reduction data that results from village planned projects. So what kind of effort does the village have to put in towards this program? The village activities are to support above the Cool DuPage program, which include LED streetlights replacements, if you can do that, purchases of fuel-efficient trucks and vehicles, planned energy improvements in our water and watershed utilities, including aeration blower motor replacements, construction of pedestrian pathways along local right-of-ways such as Lies and Coons, and extension of DuPage River Trail. The great thing about this is that there's no financial investment from the village, so doesn't cost you anything to be a member of the Cool DuPage initiative. We're really just looking for partners to advocate and encourage voluntary energy efficiency programs, and that's basically what we're seeking. So that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions regarding the Cool Community Initiative or the charter members, we do have three or four members. Let me find them here. So far, the Village of Carroll Stream, the Village of Westmont, and the Village of Woodridge have all signed on to these resolutions.
Okay. All right. Now, don't go too far in case we have any questions and comments from the public. We do have a couple people here from the public, so I'm going to toss it out there first.
There's no
Anybody?
fee.
Oh, I need you to, if you have questions, I need you to come up to the podium. No? Okay. You sure? Okay,
It's at
yes.
no cost to the village.
No cost to the village, okay. And we can get into maybe a little more of that once we see
Yeah,
if
when the
there's anybody
staff
else.
is here and when, and those questions I can find out from DuPage County. I'm not on the environmental committee, and the representative from District 2 that is on the environmental committee couldn't make it, so I kind of stepped up to the plate to come
Okay,
explain
great.
this. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see if there's anybody else from the public that has any other questions first, and they'll come to the podium. I don't see anybody. Oh, I guess we do. Okay, come on up. You know the drill. And
I know the drill.
yes.
Cheryl Tucker, 434 South Cornell. Actually, it's probably not anything that has to do with her. It has to do with if we advise this, are we going to have to change some ordinances in our village, adopt ordinances to be able to do this?
Well, no. Doesn't sound like the answer is no to that question.
Okay. I'm not going to have to provide any more ordinances to fit into
Okay.
this.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, so I think we're good with questions and comments from the public. Then we'll toss it up to the board then, because we can talk about that. Okay. Trustee Kazone. Yeah.
I think the one question that was out there was who's funding the initiative, for the county? Is that from county funds?
Yeah, the county would be, I'm not, like I said, I'm not on the Cool Counties Initiative, and I'm not on the environmental committee, but the funding would be from the county. We don't have any grants funding yet, which is one of the goals of this is to, if we get enough people participating, we might be eligible for grants, but this is funded through the county, through the environmental committee.
Okay. Do you think you get 100% of the towns in DuPage County?
I'm really not sure if we can get 100%. I would love to see 100% because, like I said, it's at no cost to the village. The village, you can send out in your newsletter, energy efficient tips, so it really wouldn't be costing you any money. You can, partnering with your schools and your libraries and your police and your fire departments on, just little energy efficiency tips. That's really what we're asking. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate County Board Member Champlin coming tonight. My understanding is that there's also some technical assistance that's available to the village to develop a plan, a climate action plan that the charter members would be entitled to.
Yeah, I believe we're going to be hosting seminars and programs for the villages to participate in. So the environmental staff over at DuPage County is excellent, and any questions that you would have, you just call them or send them an email, and I'm sure they'd be willing to get out here and, help out with anything that you needed.
And Madam President, I just want
Yes,
to add
of
that
course.
our Environmental Concerns Commission discussed this, they reviewed the resolution, and they unanimously endorsed it.
Fabulous. Okay, good. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. That was actually going to be one of my questions, so thank you for that. Anybody else on the board?
Oh,
Trustee-
Madam
yes,
President, if I
sure.
just,
Yes.
you know, I'm pretty happy that the village has already taken a lot of steps to conserve energy. I know when Rich Keener started, he eliminated most of the paperwork they used to inundate us with. So that's been about 5 years, so that probably saved a couple million trees. And then, I know that the village has bought, several fuel-efficient vehicles, so. Streetlights, the LEDs, I think that's something we're already doing, is that right, Rich?
Yes.
That's correct.
Right, so I think already we're pretty well into
You
this, so that's
are.
good news.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it's a great plan. We should support it. And
Anybody
thank you
else?
for coming, Liz. It's always good to see you.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else on board? I know the manager wanted to mention something too, so you'd whispered in my ear and I made you wait, so is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, certainly.
Yes.
Yes, the village does and has started many different projects. We've exchanged our street lights, including the Prairie Path lights, to LED now. We have established a green committee that meets once a month and takes a look at many different things: paper usages, fuel use, and also chemicals, the kind of cleaning chemicals that we have, motor oil, things of that nature. So we've begun to really take a look at reducing our carbon footprint, and I believe staff has done an outstanding job. So even the type of vehicles that we purchase, we make sure that they are very fuel efficient, that they're replacing a non-efficient vehicle, like maybe an old squad car from 15 years ago, things of that nature, that we rotate them out and we replace them with fuel-efficient vehicles. So thank you, Your Honor.
That sounds great. That sounds like you guys are already a leading community in this endeavor, so that's really wonderful.
Yeah, we are. We're trying. We're doing everything we can, to streamline our expenses and also be friendly to the environment. And these are just a few examples of that. So we thank you for taking a little bit of time and pitch hitting for your team there.
Thank you. I
So
love
it's-
coming out here, so thank you.
Good to
Madam
see
President,
you.
Could I ask
Of
one last
course.
one?
Sure.
Who is our District 2 rep? Who's on the committee, the Environment Committee?
I am not sure if it's, I don't know if it's Sean or, I'm not sure which one. It's either
Okay.
Sean or Pete. I'm not sure who
Okay,
serves
I'll
on the, I
ask.
don't have all their committees
Well, that's
memorized.
fine. I
I
just
can barely
figured I'd
memorize
ask.
my own committees, so.
No, that's fine. Thanks, Liz. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate your time tonight with us. Yes. All right. Now we're going to move on to the new item number 5, discussion only, fiscal year 2016-2017 proposed budget operations. So, Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, do we need to? I guess we do need to. Yeah, I guess we do. I'm sorry. Yep. Before we move on, so I thought we were in a discussion phase, but no, we need to do a roll call vote on item number 4. So, yes.
Consensus?
Yes, for
Trustee
consensus.
Case?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Caglia?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yep.
President Bovington?
Yes, okay, now that item will move forward to the formal then. Okay, now we're ready for the discussion only. Fiscal year 2016-2017 proposed budget operations. Manager Keener,
Thank you, Your Honor.
getting into the meat.
The village will begin review of the proposed fiscal year 17, which is May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2017, budget with a discussion of main operations of the village this evening. This is the first budget workshop with subsequent workshops planned for March 21st, a complete discussion of operations and the capital improvement plan. We anticipate a budget public hearing and a first reading of the budget ordinance on March 28th with adoption on April 11th for a May 1st, 2016 fiscal year start. And Your Honor and Board and the folks at home and in the audience, again this year, obviously we have a balanced budget, more revenues than expenditures. It's going to be a very, very challenging year for a number of reasons, and one of the biggest reasons is the state of Illinois has not passed a balanced budget or even a budget. So we will continue to move forward at a very cautious and optimistic pace. But within the budget this evening, we have a lot of the things that we've carried forward in years past, including demolition fund money. There are 3 police department squad cars in this year's May 1 budget, improvements to the dance floor at the ICC, improvements to the public works floor, which is a floor tile that's popping up and heaving a little bit. We also have some bike path, prairie path signs, even a log splitter to work towards our forestry and grinding in that area. We also have been contemplating and working towards village-wide community garden plots. So we've left some money in the budget for that. We even have a shed at Jackson to store equipment for the ball fields and possibly the school district, etc. And just to remind the board and folks at home that Greg Gola and his staff has done a wonderful job at Jefferson and Jackson of maintaining the ball fields, of putting in the batting cages, the new dugouts, and things of that nature. So this is just one more improvement, and it's a minor improvement to that area. We also have the fire truck reserve. We have that $125,000 being set away for a future fire truck purchase. What we've also done within the budget, and I'm sure all of you have seen this, and we do have a draft copy of the budget on our website, but we have a capital purchase, and it's a lease. We have a number of items that we've looked at that we need. We have a dump truck that's got a cracked frame that we really need to replace this year. It's not an inexpensive item, but we actually looked at putting a bunch of more expensive items together for a lease purchase and moving forward that way. We have some fire hose, some 20 defibrillators this year. We really need to replace the defibrillators that we have. We're looking at the phone system upgrade for the village. We have even a salt purchase. We've taken a hard look at our salt purchase, and I'll go in during my time on the formal agenda and discuss the salt and snow, but we do plan to purchase 1,000 tons of salt after May 1, along with calcium chloride and salt brine, just as we've done in years past. We try to maintain about 2 years of salt on hand so that we don't run out. Some municipalities have in the past, but we have not. We even have put in a bike and pedestrian plan, which will help the village qualify for federal funding. So we've got a number of items in the budget. It is a balanced budget. It's going to be challenging, and like I said, folks will move forward in a cautious manner. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Director of Finance to kind of take us through a macro approach. Kevin's going to take us through the budget. We will not be diving into individual line items because just as in years past, we can open up any budget per department within the budget, and you'll notice that the salary line items, the benefits, and things of that nature are the largest single budget items within each department. But we're going to focus on the totality and the holistic approach of the village this evening from our operations standpoint. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll take it away.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Manager Keener, for that introduction. I am going to provide a big picture overview of the village's budget. It is available on our website, and there is a copy of it available downstairs in the village hall if people want to take a look. It is available for public inspection. Just a couple highlights. We are continuing a large investment on streets and infrastructure. We still have plenty of bond proceeds that we're going to be spending down, and there is other money from our non-home rule sales tax and other funds to be used for our infrastructure projects. Continued investment in our vehicles and equipment in a variety of different operating departments, and always looking for a focus on cost-effective and efficient services being provided throughout the village. We've got some software improvements were discussed a couple of weeks ago at the board meeting, and continue to watch Springfield for potential impacts on revenue throughout the village. This budget maintains existing services. It continues the investment in our swimming pools, which we talked about later tonight a bit as well. Community garden plots, tree trimming and removals, as well as the bike and pedestrian plan. We've had a good focus on economic development over the past few years. It's paying some dividends, and we continue some of those efforts in this budget. This is a snapshot of the total revenues village-wide by fund. As you can see, the big blue, almost half of the budget is our corporate fund. That's our main operating fund of the village. It's 44% of all of our revenues go into that particular fund. You'll see a small component for street improvements. That's mostly non-home rule sales tax. And the other big section is our water supply fund. Water supply fund, as you can see on this next chart, that makes a lot of those revenues are charges for services. So our charges for services includes water revenues, as well as wastewater and recreation fees. We do have large portions of our revenue come from various taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, which includes non-home rule sales tax. We do have a small amount, $763,000 for bond proceeds, as the manager mentioned. That is actually bundling some of these projects for a potential lease contract that we'd be able to buy a number of vehicles that way. Switching over to expenditures, again, this is village-wide with all funds, looking at the various funds. Our corporate fund makes up about 39% of our expenditures in this particular year. And the other big funds in terms of expenditures are our water supply fund. We pay a lot of money for the water commodity, and there's also a lot of capital investment in our water fund this year. And also street improvements, that's down at the bottom at 14% of our overall expenses for the year. And again, that is the investment in our streets using bond and other monies. Overall, about $55 million in expenditures throughout the village. So taking a look at our expenditures by source, what do we actually spend our money on? And this year, we do have again, a good amount of capital outlay. So it really breaks out to about a third goes into capital outlay. So that's our actual capital expenditures, and then some of the contractual expenditures in our street improvements fund. That's what we're doing on the streets, the street maintenance and street replacement program. About a third of it is salaries, wages, and contributions for pensions, IMRF, Social Security, Medicare, that type of thing. And then the remaining third covers things like regular contractual services, debt service, and commodities, the other things that we need to maintain our operations of the village on a day-to-day basis. So taking a snapshot of our corporate fund, that's our main operating fund of the village, looking at this current fiscal year, fiscal 16, where do we think we're going to end up? So we do have a projected fund balance of about $8.8 million, and that equals about 156 days of fund balance on hand that would be at the end of the year. Our target is about 90 days, so we're well ahead of that. Our low, we had about 52 days of fund balance on hand a number of years ago. So we have made quite a bit of progress over the past number of years. The budget for this year, or this fiscal year that we're in, is projecting a net gain of about $815,000. That's a result of revenues being a little bit higher than we had budgeted, and also expenditures being a little bit lower than we had anticipated. And that's all due to good things that have happened throughout the year with some of our revenues and watching our expenditures as they go out the door. We may need to look at some capital transfers throughout as the fiscal year comes to a close. This budget that we're talking about, we do have a projected ending fund balance, again, of about $8.9 million. That's about 147 days of fund balance on hand at the end. A little over $22 million in revenues in the corporate fund, and just over $20 million in expenditures. We do have some transfers that go from the corporate fund to other funds, some operating transfers of about $910,000, and some transfers to some capital funds of about $775,000. So taking a closer look at the revenue of $22 million, this is about $882,000 increase from the fiscal 16 budgeted amount. And again, we are expecting that to come in a little bit higher than that. And last year, fiscal 15, which is last year that closed, was about $20.7 million in revenue. So every year it's increasing a bit. The biggest line items that have an increase are our sales tax. We got about $647,000 increase in budgeted sales tax revenue this year. Video gaming continues to be strong, $60,000 more this year. State use tax and ambulance fees, all of those things are performing strong for us, and so we're budgeting increases this next year. Some things that are decreasing, general property taxes, that is property tax that's available for general operational purposes. More and more of our property taxes are going to other sources, like our pension contributions and our other funds. So less of that is available for general operations. Administrative towing fees, that's just a little bit lower this year, and utility taxes, that continues a downward trend in our utility tax revenue. Some of our taxes are based off of a rate, like natural gas, so if natural gas costs is lower and use is down, then our revenue for that is also down. Other impacts we have on revenue, garbage collection, there'll be rate increases for that, as well as better collections and ambulance fees, and we are really doing well with our state debt recovery program. We don't budget for that, but we are seeing a lot more of that money come this time of year when people are filing their taxes. That's a really strong revenue for us as well. As I said, we are seeing some dividends from our economic development efforts, as you can see from the sales tax revenues. So this is a snapshot of our historical corporate fund revenues. And as you can see, each year it's going up just a little bit every year, which is that's the trend you want to see, strong revenues for the corporate fund. On the expense side, we do have a balanced corporate fund budget. We have moderated some of our capital transfers into some of capital funds. The fund, or the services that are provided, we are maintaining our current services, so no reductions in the specific services that we're providing. We are continuing our priority initiatives, street maintenance, tree trimming, tree removals, economic development, all the things that we're known for doing. And we're continuing to support our parks and recreation operations and our swimming pool with some operating transfers. We're seeing a similar trend in expenditures as we're seeing in our revenue. It is increasing every year, and we have some drivers for that. This year, we do have some increases in our public affairs budget. This is good because this is our sales tax incentive agreement. So those businesses that we're working with are really doing well. They're really doing better than in the past. And we have some increased costs with the bike and pedestrian plan that Manager Keener mentioned earlier. We have money from the corporate fund going to various capital funds. $910,000 in total are divided between a contribution to the capital projects fund, the equipment replacement fund, and the building improvement funds. That's where we isolate some expenditures for those various areas of the village. And again, we're projecting a 147-day fund balance on hand at the end of this budget year. So things to watch. We continue to look at healthcare costs. With healthcare reform, we've got the same plan that we've had in the past. If we make certain changes or changes occur to us, that could increase our costs. So we are very active in monitoring that, looking at wellness programs to keep our healthcare costs down long term. Pension costs, that continues to be a big cost driver for us. And of course, state shared revenues are definitely at risk, and there's no resolution in sight as we are seeing. In summary, our revenues have rebounded. We were really strong in our sales tax. The economic development activity is really doing well for us. 147-day corporate fund balance on hand. Many of our funds are balanced with structural revenues better than our expenditures. Many of our funds, if they're not in balance, they're pre-funded with some capital investment, like our bonds for our roads, or our capital investment in our water and sewer funds. Those are planned ahead, and that's part of the long-term trend or long-term plan for those particular funds. And we are funding some major initiatives throughout the village that we've talked about. This budget maintains fiscal responsibility, maintains our current service levels. We continue a focus of cost containment, keeping our costs is not growing as much as they would. We're looking at a lot of different things in that way. Interdepartmental cooperation. We have meetings every week, and we're talking about ways to share and make things more efficient among departments, working better together as a team, working better together with our neighbors, with other governments in the community and elsewhere. We're working with them to save dollars. Key investments in software and technology, making ourselves more efficient so we could do more with less. And continuing to implement our strategic plan, our big picture goals and objectives that we have. That concludes my comments. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have, but this has been a long budget process. We had lots of budget meetings with all of the operating departments. They've been very helpful in trying to get us to the spending plan that we are at today. For me, it's a compilation effort and looking at a lot of different revenues and looking at a lot of different things, but the departments really have to take a look at all of their operations to make sure they know what is key, what is essential for them, and letting us know what the impact of reductions are or changes and things like that. So we couldn't do it without them, and we do appreciate that. And I've sat in the manager's office many hours going through the budget, so it's been quite a ride for this budget year.
Probably dreaming about it, huh?
Every night.
Seriously. Okay. Or nightmare, depending on how you look at it, I guess. But gonna open it up to the board. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Trustee Gazone.
I just got a couple questions. The debt load, that 8% debt load, that's pretty decent for the budget that we have here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keeping it down like below 10%. Is that a pretty good target to shoot for?
Yeah, we look at that comes from the debt comes from a variety of different funding sources. So the debt for the water program is for that specific purpose. So yeah, I think we've got a big picture perspective of keeping that as low as we can, and looking at our debt portfolio in total, so we have a minimal impact on homeowners, on taxpayers throughout the community.
Do you foresee a lower property tax revenue? Since it seems like a lot of the assessments this year were down. Do you foresee that affecting us, and is that taken care of in the budget?
All right, so the assessments for individual property owners could go up or could go down. I had a discussion with the folks at York Township a number of months ago before we were talking about the tax levy, and they were projecting, and I don't have the numbers yet, but at the time they were projecting that the overall EAV of the community would go up, and we had planned for about 4% of an increase. So if an individual property owner may go down, an individual property owner may go up, but overall it seems that the declines have turned community-wide. That could be a number of reasons. It could be the commercial tax base is doing better, or it could be just a different neighborhood or whatever. But the way that the property tax system works as far as village revenue, we levy a rate, or we levy an amount, and they convert it to a rate. So the property taxes that are extended throughout the community are pretty in line with what we are budgeting for.
Good. Thanks.
Good. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Trustee Case.
Refresh my memory. Where's the video gambling money going again? Where does that?
That comes to the corporate fund as a general governmental revenue.
Okay. I thought it would be a lot higher than.
That was a $60,000 increase.
Oh, increase.
Yes,
I
that's
got you.
higher, more than last year. Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Okay. What about the the machines you see in the stores with you grab a ticket out of them? Do we get any part of that, or?
Like the pull tabs and things like that? We get
scratch offs.
Much less than the video. The video gambling
Right.
is much higher. The scratch offs and things like that are done through a different process.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Trustee Bolfus, yes.
Can we ask a question? Are we on a specific item on the budget here? I was looking at the finance department. And your budget here on page 15, you got a contingency of $60,000. Can you explain what that is all about?
We have a number of things that are in the hopper that we can't allocate the cost, things like union negotiations and a few different things like that where we can't specifically allocate the cost because we don't know them. We know that the costs are going to happen, but we don't know exactly where they're going to be. So we put it in that central services.
That's about as clear as mud.
Yeah.
So.
They might need it.
Is that like you might need it, right?
Right.
Okay. I just wondered, we haven't had that in there before. I haven't seen a contingency in the
We've had it in,
department.
we've had it in the central services in years past for things that are closer to eventualities than.
Okay. And the other thing, I was looking in the administration section here, page six of the 11, in the dues and subscriptions. Yeah, not to be a little picky, but one of the new items on under dues and subscriptions is the National League of Cities, $2,000. What do we get for that?
Membership.
What does National League of Cities do for us?
Basically, it just gives us representation, but it's not a requirement.
See, I always look at
Obviously,
the
it's just-
National League of Cities organization as big towns, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Chicago, New York. You know, I just wonder why do we need that?
There's a number of local municipalities too. Franklin Park is involved, Downers Grove.
Yeah, well, we're
a number
pretty
of other
small
ones,
even
but,
compared
yeah.
to Downers Grove.
But there are some
you know.
suburban towns too, so.
We get a newsletter, or
We do get newsletters, and we get that type of thing too. And we get representation, advocacy, your typical membership type things with that.
I still have trouble understanding why we would need to be part of that organization.
Kind of like Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, you know, we're a
That I
member
can
of
sort of see,
that.
that's
and
more local.
DuPage Mayors and
but
Managers,
National League of
but-
Cities is national,
Right,
so I'd like to see that go away.
yeah, it's $2,000, we could do something else with.
Yeah, we could, you know, do some finance or help out a senior organization or something like that.
Sure.
Because we all got a letter in the last couple of weeks about the senior organization in DuPage County needing some funds that we normally
The
didn't.
Meals on Wheels program,
Yeah, that
perfect
type of
example of
thing, you
that,
know.
yeah.
We funded them in the past, but we haven't done it for a number of years. So
Sure,
even if we could direct even that small amount for them, would be
yeah.
kind of
$2,000 is $2,000.
So
Okay.
that's just my opinion that every other board members
Yeah.
think.
Yep. Anything else?
No.
Nope. Okay, anybody else? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam
Sure,
President.
you guys have.
I don't have a specific question. I just want to say that I appreciate the detail, you know, with the little narrative, the accomplishments, goals, and the significant changes is helpful to read.
Yeah.
So, and
I agree.
just a very positive impression of this first presentation of the budget. So
Yeah.
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Good? Okay. Just a couple things. Number one, yes, in regards to the binder that we received, it was so much easier to read, because I know for years we've been asking for a budget that we can actually read and understand and comprehend, and so hopefully the residents who are going to come and look at this will feel the same way. You know, the sample that we have sitting downstairs by the village manager's office and online, it is a lot easier to read, so.
Glad to hear that.
Yes, that was my very first impression of this, like, no, this isn't going to be as painful as it's been in the past. Just trying to sift through and make sense of it all, so thank you for that. And under Public Works, one of my questions was, you know, we get a lot of feedback about the snow removal, and when we're gonna remove the snow, you know, it has to be at 4 inches or more to remove snow. In the neighborhood streets, we get the arterials taken care of, but we always wait for the snow to pile up a little bit before we get to the neighborhood streets. And maybe it's in there, I just want to find out, was there any extra funds allocated to maybe get to the neighborhood streets a little sooner in terms of the plowing? 'Cause I know in the past it's been predicated by the budget. So I just thought I'd bring it up because, you know, we get a lot of feedback about when we actually get to plowing the streets, and it's been, like I said, predicated in the past due to budget constraints and being able to get into our neighborhood streets a little sooner rather than later. Is that something we can consider this year, this budget cycle? Yes, whoever wants to address
Your
that.
If we Actually, we took a hard look at that, and to commence plowing our streets less than 4 inches would double or triple our overtime cost and things of that nature. So we did look at that and tried to make it work, but it's not feasible, not with the kind of figures that we were looking at.
Is there a way we can maybe meet in the middle then, or is there another way we can go about skinning the cat so we can get to the neighborhood streets just a little sooner
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
to be able to pay for it?
Director Giskelis can and correct me if I'm a little off base, but once we finish the main streets, we start on the arterials, and we don't let them go, even though it's after 4 inches. But we do start them as soon as we can.
Right, that is correct. Once the crews are out, they'll do all the streets. But if you want to get to the side streets sooner, you have to commit more pieces of equipment and more labor, and we only have so many pieces of equipment available. And we are, we would also have to take another look at the bare pavement policy, because right now we do not salt all the side streets automatically.
Right.
That would, significantly increase the salt budget. So it's just a matter of if it would require more resources. We get to the side streets fairly quickly. It's not like we hold back on them.
Right, yeah.
There's only so many main streets. As soon as they're done with the mains, they go on the side streets.
Right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring it up because we get feedback, and just if there was a way, because in the past it's been completely predicated by the budget and the constraints and labor and that type of thing. So since we're talking budget, I wanted to bring it out there and talk about it. So sounds like we're going to stick with status quo right now, but basically is that okay?
That's the proposal you're on.
Okay. Okay. I'm hoping we can find a way to do it. So, all right. Anybody else? That was one of my main questions right now. Okay. Are we good? You want to mention something? Absolutely. Yes, please do.
Thank you, Robert. What I like to do for everyone at home and here at the meeting is, so tonight, March 14th, we've talked about the operating budget during the committee of the whole process. Now, on the 21st, which is an off Monday, there's going to be the second budget workshop to discuss the CIP, stormwater, and water and sewer programs. So that obviously will be a very detailed discussion as well. We're doing many streets this year, last year, et cetera, and of course with the streets, you have the water and sewer and stormwater. So very enlightening discussions for March 21st. We set aside March 23rd. If we need to have another budget workshop, we can. We just need to alert everyone. On March 28th, there'll be a public hearing at 7:15 here in the board chambers prior to the board meeting, where Director Wattel will give a summary of the budget that's been proposed. And then during the committee of the whole and the formal, there'll be the first reading of the ordinance. And then on April 11th, the final reading of the budget ordinance will be on the agenda. And then after that, if it's approved, we'll continue to file the budget with the county and then implement it on May 1st. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. We have a few more meetings to really get into the meat of this, so that'll be good. All righty then. I want to make sure that yes.
Actually, one more comment.
Sure. Yes. This is our opportunity.
In the administration section on page 5,
Okay.
we have our trustees listed by initials, and number 6 is TBD. Is there something I need to know?
You're gonna get a huge raise.
Thank you.
Apparently, you didn't get the memo, Trustee
Yeah,
Gonzalez.
okay. It's been nice knowing you guys. We'll see.
Nice knowing you too. You don't want to go anywhere. Yeah, that'll get fixed. Oh, that's funny. Thanks for having a good sense of humor there. Thank you. Okay, anything else? That's a tough act to follow, I'll tell you. Anybody else want to, anything else? Okay, then we are going to move on then to the next item on the Committee of the Whole agenda. Consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting the municipal legislative priorities of the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference for the 2016 legislative session. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You've got 'em somewhere.
This resolution formally adopts the annual legislative action program developed by the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, otherwise known as DMMC, with the goal of providing a comprehensive platform on legislative issues. Villa Park is a member of the DMMC, and this program is designed to establish positions on legislative issues in order to provide clear direction for elected officials and employees. And Your Honor, I'm not sure if the folks at home have actually seen the legislative program for 2016. Looks something like this. I'm not sure if you can zoom in a little bit, but as you open it up, it talks about the revenue and taxation. One of the topics is to protect local revenue, and obviously that's talking about the local government distributive funds. It's also talking about reform municipal public safety pensions. There's positions on amend the Public Safety Employee Benefits Act, PSEBA. Talks about amending the Workers' Compensation Act. Let's see, and I'm flipping a page here. Remove barriers of non-home rule authority. Support true Western access. And a few other items to mention, but what this does, President Bullwinkle and board and folks at home, it gives kind of a clear direction to elected officials and employees. So when we discuss certain things with our area legislators, or when we travel to Springfield to lobby, that we have a mechanism to refer to and some talking points and things of that nature. And we all speak as one instead of multiple voices. So thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay. Any questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Something we bring forward every year. Okay. Questions and comments from the board? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President.
Sure.
Just a question. I know that there's a legislative committee for the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference. Is this, I assume that this is passed by majority vote. Is that how it's?
Yes, what transpires is it's discussed at the legislative committee, and it's also presented from that committee to the board of directors. And then from the board of directors, it's taken to a conference business meeting where all the municipalities take a vote at that time. So it's approved at the legislative committee, moved forward to the board of directors, and then to the total conference through a business meeting and voted upon.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, sure. Anybody else? Board, have any questions? We good over there to my right? Good? Okay. And we're going to do roll call vote on this.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bowie?
Yes. Okay, moving on then. Item number, looks like 7 here. Consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving pool pass rates for 2016. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. After a survey of area aquatic facilities, the recommended rates are as follows. Early bird discounted rates for the swimming pools. The residents ages 3 to 59, the early bird discounted rate would be $53 for the pass, $72 for the regular season, which means after the early bird. Non-resident ages 3 to 59, they don't qualify for the early bird, it's not available, but the season pass for the season obviously is $99. For the resident senior age 60 plus, the early bird discount rate is proposed to be $48. After the early bird period, it's $64. Non-resident age 60 plus is not entitled to the early bird discounted rate. However, the regular season rate is $92 for that category. The daily admission rates are recommended to be $7 for residents ages 3 and older and $9 for non-residents ages 3 and older. The evening discount rate will be $5 for residents and $7 for non-residents beginning at 5 p.m. the daily admission rates recommended for 2016 are the same as they were in 2015. And President Bowinkle and board and folks at home, this is a very difficult and challenging proposal this year. Staff thought long and hard about the pool rates. We took a survey just as we did last year, and we're competitive with these rates. However, at a certain point along the process, you do not want to price yourself out of being successful. And folks, I mean, if you raise it to a certain point, our residents may go to a neighboring municipality and participate in their pool program. So we don't want that to happen. We want a successful program. So we're kind of walking a fine line this year. And I know folks at home and during our town hall meetings that we've had actively stated that they would pay more to come to our pools. However, our pools are a little outdated and don't offer some of the amenities that the surrounding pools do. So we were very careful on the rates for the season passes. As we're looking at the rates this evening and the rates I discussed, they're proposed at a 5% increase, and we were very, very cautious at that. I did provide the board with a pool pass comparison for 2015 and 2014, and as you kind of look through the spreadsheet, you can kind of see where 2015 did not keep up with 2014 in some categories. And Director Gold and myself, over last year, 2015 and 2014, we really compare the pool season like a golf season. It's always weather related. So if you get a 60-degree day and it's not raining, you might swim and you might play golf, but if it's raining, you probably do neither. So it was kind of a fine line. So again, the season passes are proposed at a 5% increase. The daily passes are not increased at all. Their status quo is last year. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item? Got a couple people here. No? Okay, I'm going to toss it up to the board. Okay, Trustee Bolfus.
Well, Manager Keener mentioned a lot of the concerns I had by looking at these numbers. Sort of took my fire away.
It was all in the plan. It was all in the plan.
Part of the reason I think that these pool pass sales for 2015, usually I would assume people buy the pool passes early in the season and the early time. It was a cool spring, so maybe people didn't come out to buy the passes there. But the numbers are down considerably from the prior year. And also looking over in our budget we got today from the finance department in the recreational section, under the pools on page 47 is listed the admissions from 2007 through 2016 projected, and it's been a steadily decrease, except for one time there, I think it was in '09, but I'm trying to remember if that's when Lombard's pools were closed, was in '09, our attendance was up. You know, and looking at that and looking at the number of passes, you know, I think we're getting at the point where we have to do something with our pools to make them more appealing to residents and non-residents to come and use them. Because, you know, they're old. I don't know if that's exactly what people are looking for anymore. The only pool passes that pretty much stayed the same were the seniors. You know, they were pretty much level.
That's good.
The family rates, child and adults, have gone down substantially, and the total numbers that were supplied to us from '07, I think we're at the point where we have to do something different, really take a hard look at if we're going to upgrade the pools, replace the pools, and then also where we're going to find the money to do that. So,
$1 million question.
but you know, the attendance figures continue to go down. Lufkin Pool seems to stay pretty good. Hasn't decreased as much, but we're having a downward trend on attendance. So I think we have to take a hard look soon about making some improvements to make them more attractive. So, and Manager Keener said everything else I was thinking, so, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
I'll ditto what
Okay.
else.
Nope. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we've got, Manager Keener wants to comment, so.
So I must have forgot something.
No. Or you might want to add on to
Okay.
what you were sharing.
Thank you, Honor.
We'll find out.
And as Trustee Bolthuis was saying, this year, for the first time ever, we're adding internet to both of our pools. So if the parents would like to bring the children, they can bring their iPads, iPhones, and stay dry and enjoy the warm weather, hopefully, knock on wood, and participate in the pool program. So this year we'll have internet at both pools so that the family can enjoy the pool and maybe hopefully enjoy the whole area. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice. Okay, Trustee Case.
Are we gonna be posting signs that, like in front of the pools, that Wi-Fi is gonna be there or anything?
Thank
Like a
you.
banner or anything?
Yes, we will, and that'll be one of the topics that's going to be put in our monthly e-newsletter. It'll be put in Village Matters because that's an important selling piece. And in fact, if you're on a data plan and you have an iPhone or an Android, if you will, and you go to area businesses, one of the first things that you look for is free Wi-Fi so you don't use your data. So, yes, that's the long answer. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Other questions? Yeah, I just want to tag on to what the manager said in regards to the residents have been very open and honest with us about their willingness to pay a little bit more to utilize our pools, and we appreciate that very much because for a while there, the village really wasn't doing that. They weren't, wasn't keeping up with the times, and it costs quite a bit to maintain the pools, as everybody knows. And so we just appreciate the fact that, the residents are very understanding about this type of increase, because we're making great efforts to do everything we can to maintain the pools we have right now, knowing that one of these days we're going to really have to hunker and make some decisions on what we're going to do with our existing pools as we move forward. And this has been a conversation that we've been having now for at least a few years, but it's to the point where we need to probably start doing something about it. So we'll have more public engagement about that as we move forward with it. But the pools are safe and open again this year. I know that's another question that we get too, and this will help us continue to maintain the pools accordingly. So, okay, with that, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bowie?
Yes. Excuse me. Item number 8 on the Committee of the Whole is consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with RPS Gaia Tech for asbestos removal and building demolition. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village owns a building at 277 East North Avenue, which is in significant disrepair and is becoming a safety hazard and possibly a liability. Several bids were obtained for the asbestos abatement, demolition, and leveling the property to grade, and RPS provided the most cost-effective bid. Staff recommends approving the contract for asbestos removal and building demolition and waiving the bidding requirement. And Your Honor and Board, this is the former Ladowig office, and for folks at home that aren't familiar with this, the village owns some property on North Avenue that was leased to Mr. Ladowig for the AutoCool dealership, if you will, and he retired, and now we have a vacant office building that's in significant disrepair and needs to be demolished. Currently, we have some folks looking at the property to purchase it and redevelop that site. And by removing this blighted building and the asbestos and then grading the site will help that project move forward. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And just a little extra clarification, the Ladowig property is where the RVs used to be parked on North Avenue. That's the Ladowig property. So, any questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, can toss it up to the board. Any questions, comments from the board? Trustee Gazone.
I just got one comment. Director Fiola and I had discussed the quote that was given, and it's a very reasonable price, for the asbestos and the demolition, and Gaiatech is a pretty decent company. They do a nice job, so.
Gaiatech, I mean too.
I think we're okay there.
Okay, Gaiatech, good. Great, thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Trustee Case.
I got a question for the chief.
Yeah.
Can we do a practice, use that as a practice area? Oh, you did already?
Yeah, that's right. It's a repair. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And we try to do that, yeah.
No, I just thought that might help the demolition cause of it.
Yeah, knock it down.
Yeah. Thank you. We try to do that with any vacant building if we're allowed to do it, so I'd like to hand it off to our fire department.
Now, I remember I did.
And
see
police
guys
too.
over there.
They were.
Takes
Okay.
me a while to remember.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Trustee Bolfus.
I see one of the additional bids is for filling in the hole of the crawl space with gravel. Did we look at possibly the village staff filling the hole in? And what that cost would be compared to the $17,000 to fill the hole in?
Sure, go ahead.
Thanks, Ron.
Yes.
We talked about that internally. We decided to go externally on that to reduce any type of liability that we may have, and so we signed off upon by the potential purchaser. But if you'd like staff to do that internally, we can certainly do that.
I just, $17,000, but, if you feel that liability, I don't know what the liability, additional liability would be for us to do it. Probably get done within a day if they were to do it. Take us when the guys have time, so. And I also see that we hope to see if we can recoup some of the cost from any future developers, so.
Yes.
That would be very good too.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, yes, Trustee Case.
Good point, Al. Now, does that hole have to be filled with gravel? Or can we fill it with the stuff we have on Hill Street over there? Or is that dirty dirt or?
Yeah, yeah. The manager will.
Well, to get rid of that dirt over there, instead of hauling it off site and paying, why can't we just haul it over there and fill in that hole?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Trustee Case, I think the manager's going to answer that, yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
That could be one possibility. However, to do that, we would have to have the soil tested and have it approved before bringing it onto the site.
Yeah.
If we did not, then we'd have to go back and do phase 2 testing, in which would prolong the development process. And I believe at this point it's much easier to take the debris from Hill, just have it soil tested there, and then transport it to the landfill if that's where it needs to go. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else? We good? Okay, just for the record, the total cost for this is projected to be $83,010, of which about $60,000 is being negotiated to be reimbursed by the developer, as was referenced earlier by Trustee Bolfus. So it's pretty good. So, okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Okay. Item number 9 on the Committee of the Whole. Consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, designating public depository and authorizing withdrawal of municipal public monies. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village's ambulance billing company deposits collected fees into a bank account at Suburban Bank and Trust, otherwise known as SBT. These funds are transferred each month to the village's main operating accounts. SBT was recently acquired by Hinsdale Bank and Trust, a Wintrust community bank. As such, the village board should adopt this resolution to finalize the transaction. And Your Honor and Board, with this resolution, this permits the removal and moving of the monies, just as we were with SBT before they were taken over. So, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, questions and comments from the board? Are we good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bovee.
Yes. Item number 10 on the Committee of the Whole, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an engineering services agreement between the Village and Conservation Design Forum for the Washington Street Green Infrastructure Improvements. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village expects to receive $1 million in Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery funding through DuPage County. The funds are intended to reduce runoff to combined sewers, reduce flooding, and increase water quality in the Washington Street combined sewer area, including Grant Avenue. Conservation Design Forum of Lombard, Illinois has submitted a design proposal to prepare bid documents for green stormwater infrastructure improvements at 4 proposed locations at a total cost of $81,000. DuPage County will be providing $40,000 towards the design. And in Your Honor and Board, obviously the other $41,000 will come from the village. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions and comments from the public about regards to this item? Okay, questions and comments from the board? We go? Anybody? We good? Okay, I just have a clarification. This includes Grant Street. Is that correct with the permeable pavement that we've been discussing?
Yes.
So the answer is yes to that. Okay, just want to make sure of that. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
President Bovee.
Yes. Okay, we're going to convene to the formal agenda. Okay. Item number 1 on the formal is the village president's report. Just have a couple quick things. Number 1, I always ask staff for just a quick little update on what's been going on with the weather breaking, when we might be seeing a continuation of the projects that we have that require nice weather. Even though I think they're calling for snow later this week, but I know, I'm not kidding. It's not a joke.
Okay,
So we'll see.
Park Boulevard has been underway for several weeks now. Storm sewer work continues to be installed, working towards Villa Avenue. Work is complete from the east end of Park Boulevard through the intersection Monterey, with the exception of a location where there was a conflict with NICOR, and today that conflict was resolved. NICOR removed the portion, and the gap will be filled in the next few weeks, hopefully. The other ongoing project is the South Monterey Culvert Replacement Project. All the culverts have been installed and all the ditches have been graded, so now they're just waiting for the plants to open for asphalt and for black dirt and sod. So that should be around April 1st. The other projects that are coming up, I was asked to read all the upcoming projects into the record today, so I will go down the list. For the 2016 Street Improvement Program, which is currently under design, by the way, we did have a progress meeting last week. We will be bidding that around April, with bids to be open sometime in May, so that one's pretty far along. But anyway, that includes Ardmore from Wildfire Drive to North Avenue, Harrison from Harvard Avenue to Ardmore Avenue, Home Avenue from Harvard Avenue to Ardmore Avenue, Leslie Lane from Jackson to Ardmore, Monroe from Harvard to Summit, Orchard Hill Court from Harrison Street to the south dead end, Princeton Avenue from the north end to Wildfire Drive, Summit Avenue from Kenilworth Avenue to Madison Street, Wildfire Drive from Harvard Avenue to Ardmore Avenue, and Yale Avenue from Wildfire Drive to North Avenue. And of course, it was already mentioned that grant will be included with the grant-funded Washington Green Infrastructure improvements. So once we get design going, we'll have a little bit more firm timetable. And of course, the grant funds release. We did get notice today of the county's intent to release the $1 million of funding. So that's in public notice. Okay. So we're getting closer to that happening. And that is HUD funding originally, so it has to go through all the HUD processes. Michigan from Park Boulevard to Madison is proposed in this upcoming fiscal year budget. The plans have been sent off to the IEPA for review, so the only thing left is to secure the funding for the water main through the IEPA loan process, and we'll be discussing that at the budget meetings.
Okay.
Park that we mentioned. In Princeton, the street with the water main construction going on, we're looking end of the month, beginning of April. Same thing for Ardmore Streetscape, and then phase 2 will be the complete reconstruction of the road, and that is proposed in this fiscal year budget.
Okay, great. And thank you for reading that into the record. And as we get the projects underway, the residents on these respective streets will be alerted. Is that right? Through flyers or however the staff gets word out to the residents on the street. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Just a couple other things that I have. And we have this on our website too. There's a scam warning on there. ComEd warns customers of scams. Basically, ComEd has seen an increase in reports of individuals calling ComEd customers and falsely claiming their electric service will be disconnected unless payment is made. Just be very aware that that's not normally how they do it. They're asking for personal information like credit card information, PIN numbers, access to your private information. Do not release any of that information. And if you feel that you've been a target of a scam, don't be afraid to either call our police, and our system is 911 to report it, but also to let ComEd know. And you can contact ComEd customer service at 1-800-334-7661. And also don't be afraid to call the Illinois Attorney General's office either at 1-800-386-5438 to report the phone scam. Unfortunately, these things happen. In fact, I just got another call, another different scam, the IRS calling, stating that they are going to sue me. And I think that's another real common one, too, that a lot of people are getting. So if you get that message on your voicemail, delete it or report it, however you want to handle it. But that's another scam that's going around, too. So just beware and don't be upset by it. It's a scam. So also, wanted to mention that, and had some residents contact me in regards to skunk season is underway now with the very cool spring that we've had, but it's been warmer than normal. It's kind of one of those things where they come out of hibernation a little earlier when the weather is like what we've been having. So if you have any issues with skunks, and these particular residents have been dealing with it for a long time, as most of us do in Villa Park, we know when it's skunk season. The Willowbrook Wildlife Center, located in Glen Ellen, is a really good resource. So if you need to learn more about how to deal with skunks, the proliferation of skunks in your various neighborhoods, they're very helpful. I passed on some information to the residents that had contacted me, and staff also did some homework too on this. But you can call 630-942-6200. This is for the Willowbrook Wildlife Center, a terrific organization just down the street in Glen Ellen, a great resource. So call them if you're looking for any tips on how to handle the skunk population. Also, just another little reminder about the burned out street lights. If you have a burned out street light that's on the wooden pole, speaking of ComEd, that's a ComEd pole, contact them directly at 1-800-334-7661. The village doesn't maintain those poles. The wooden poles are strictly ComEd. Call ComEd, hit 0 till you get a live person, and report the outage, and they'll come out and they'll swap out those lights. But if you see any other street light in town that's not on a wooden pole, those are maintained by the village, please contact Public Works so we can get out there right away to fix the lighting situation there. That would be calling 630-834-8505. And that concludes my report for tonight. So I'm going to move on then to item number 2 then, public comments on agenda items. This is in regards to items number 4 on the formal here, the consent agenda. If anybody has any questions on that, we can talk about it now. Otherwise, non-agenda items comes up at item number 5. So seeing none, then item number 3, amendments to the formal agenda. Does anybody have any amendments to the formal agenda? We good? Okay. Item number 4 then is consent agenda. This is A through I as normal. I'm just going to read the headings really quick for the record here in case you're tuning in late. A, bill listing dated March 14th, 2016 in the amount of $1,471,078.42. Minutes from Village COW meeting for February 22nd, 2016. That's item B. C, minutes from the village formal board meeting for February 22nd, 2016. D, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting the municipal legislative priorities of the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference for the 2016 legislative session. E, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing acceptance of the Cool DuPage Initiative and Goals as a charter community in partnership with DuPage County. F, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving pool pass rates for 2016. G, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with RPS Gaia Tech for asbestos removal and building demolition. H, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, designating public depository and authorizing withdrawal of municipal public monies. I, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing an engineering services agreement between the Village and Conservation Design Forum for the Washington Street Green Infrastructure Improvements. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Madam President.
Trustee Case.
Second.
Okay. Any additional questions and comments? You guys good? Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote then. Thank you.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yeah.
Trustee Cazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 5 on the formal is public comments on non-agenda items. This is your opportunity. If you have anything on your mind for non-agenda items, you can approach the podium and we can give you 3 minutes to talk to us about what's on your mind. Sure. Oh, well, what we need your name for the record.
Sign in.
Yes, yes, yeah. There's a little bit of a process here, but we make it as painless as we can. So, just when you sign in, you can put your name and all the details there, and you can just state your name for the record.
Okay.
Into the microphone. If you need to adjust the mic too, feel free. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay, Nora Reinhofer. We own the property Maple Crossing Apartments, so we're just wanting to know the update on what's happening with the street.
With the street
construction and
with the streetscape.
Mhm.
Okay, now that the weather's broke, we can.
This is supposed to be apparently done in November, but it kind of stopped. So
No, actually, we got 80% of the project done,
Right.
knowing that we would still have about 20% to do in the spring once the thaw hit. Now we have lighting that needs to be installed, and actually we can ask for another update on that. Usually I do ask on a streetscape update, so what else do we have to do? I'm looking at our Director of Public Works.
my more important
Yeah.
question is it happening on the west side of the street?
Okay. Vitas Jascalis, our Director of Public Works, can give us a little more of an update on what's going to happen in this 20% that we still have to
Correct. Most
finish.
of the remaining work is either remaining electrical work and some of the work on the west side of the street. So as I mentioned earlier, end of March, early April, they will be resuming work.
So, but in terms of
What is the plan for the west side?
plans for the west side of the street itself, well,
I mean, I don't have the plans with me. Certainly, we can get that information out, but I don't have it with me.
okay.
Okay, I
But
just don't want,
it's generally lighting, sidewalks, streetscape, just like on the east side.
right, but I don't want what happened on my east side to happen on my west side, which is you tore down 100-year-old trees. So I'm putting that up front that I want to know in advance, so we can maybe change the scape or something, because I don't want that happening again.
Yeah, well, we'll get with you, yeah. Do
can
you have
get
a,
with
yeah,
you.
you want to
Who
come up and, because I know you all were working on that, so,
All tree removal was done prior to the start of the project, so there's no more tree removal scheduled.
okay.
Okay, because my trees are marked with orange tape. I don't know what that means, so
Well,
nothing's
the-
happening on that side?
I think,
I
yes,
would appreciate it.
yes, okay, thank you. And you signed in, right? Want to make sure you got, okay, good. Okay, anybody else? Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Cheryl Tucker.
Hello.
34. I just have a question. Where in the budget that is mentioned is the red light camera revenue?
Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. If the Director of Finance has it, he can show you right there. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Get that for you. Anybody else? I think that, don't think we have anybody else from the public here. Okay. All right then, I'm going to move on then, because I think we're good. Item number 6, village clerk's report.
No report tonight, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Item number 7, village trustees report. I'm going to start to my right tonight.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, trustee Taglia.
Just remember, get out and vote tomorrow, big primary. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Trustee Case.
Yes. Is there any coordination going on with Night Corps of what they're doing, so we don't have another mishap like we had with the new streets that we're doing? And what is Night Corps doing?
Is there a particular street you're requesting or
No, I mean, like
asking
if
about
we,
just in general, or?
where they're doing all their work, they had a little problem out in front. Is there any coordination so they're doing the streets that aren't being redone first?
Right.
So we don't have that problem, so we have to dig it up again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe trustee Case is referring to where NICOR directional board through a portion of our sanitary sewer line, which required some maintenance here on home. But yes, they are planning a capital improvement project, or plan, if you will, on the north side of the village of Villa Park. And so the staff met with representatives of NICOR, and they showed us their plans, and specifically the streets. And we have a number of concerns because some of their streets conflict with ours, and the last thing we want to do is reconstruct the street and then have NICOR come behind us and reinstall gas main and things of that nature. So we are reaching out to NICOR again to have some more discussions on staging and logistics of the improvements, both for the village and NICOR. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
What are they doing, NICOR?
NICOR is putting forth their aggressive capital plan where they're going through and replacing certain gas mains and certain services to homes. And they'll have, I think, approximately 3 teams that come through. One will be a directional board team, one will be a service team, and I apologize, everyone, I can't remember the other team. And they're going in certain areas throughout the village and replacing the older infrastructure with new infrastructure, including new meters on the homes if necessary, removing the meter from inside the home and placing it on the outside of the home. And some of their work conflicts with ours, since the last thing we want to do is redo a road and they have to come back through the right-of-way or dig up services in the road. But you know, that's kind of a difficult situation for us because they sometimes have a mind of their own, and we'll have to work extremely hard to make sure that there's no double work, if you will, to what's happening here in the summer. And for folks at home, if you don't know, and I hope you know, but on all of our bills from NICOR in certain areas, you may notice a capital improvement fee on your monthly bill, which will be used to pay for NICOR's capital improvement plan going into the future. And when we met with those folks, they mentioned that it could be as high as $10 a month for the proposed payment for the capital improvements, and they hoped it did not reach that. So they hoped it did not reach that. So if you'd like some more information, please contact my office, and I can put you in touch with NICOR. Thank you, Your Honor.
I have one more.
Yeah.
The $1 million question.
Yes.
Just for a
At
record,
least.
we're not paying for their boo-boo.
Right.
And folks at Home and Board, yes, their boo-boo on Home Avenue, we're putting together all the material and labor costs and giving that invoice to NICOR. In fact, what they did is there was a gas line to Village Hall that had to be relocated. They directional bored on the south side of Home to the north side of Home and went through a portion of a wastewater main and caused some issues. So we resolved those issues, and we're submitting the invoice to NICOR.
And what you're referencing, Trustee Case, is when the street was blocked off, Home across from the police department and Village Hall to repair that, as you call it, a boo-boo. Sounds like a little worse than a boo-boo to me, but.
Some people thought it was a protest.
It's a big boo-boo. And, yeah, we absolutely shouldn't pay for that. And if there's any other boo-boos moving forward too, yeah, and anything else that happens to come up, you know, with NICOR and our street projects, if there's any issues with that, yeah, we gotta make sure that NICOR covers those costs too, so, yeah, keep an eye on that. Thanks for asking about that, Trustee Case. Are you good?
Yep.
Okay, to my left, Trustee Gazone.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a couple of things. I just want to recognize two of our commissioners on the Environmental Concerns Commission, Anne Marie Testa and Jess Spivak, attended a symposium at the NIU campus in Naperville this last Saturday, and it was a gathering of all the environmental commissions and committees in the different municipalities that are part of DuPage, and they presented a little PowerPoint presentation about what their commission does. And it was a good learning experience for them, and it kind of shows our commitment, the village's commitment to environmental issues, because I think there's 33 communities that are completely in DuPage or partially in DuPage, and I think of those 33, only 17 have environmental commissions or committees. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to congratulate them, and I know it was a good learning experience for them. It was publicized in the paper. Yeah. And speaking about the Environmental Concerns Commission, they have a meeting coming up on Thursday, March 24th at 7:15 here at Village Hall. Their chairperson, Michael Spencer, recently resigned, so they're in need. They're looking for 3 replacement commissioners currently.
Yes. Thank you for putting that out there.
Just want to let folks know that the Salt Creek Sanitary District will begin collecting cooking oil next week. They are working with Scarce and Chicago Biofuels, and I just want to stress this is cooking oil only.
Okay.
Yeah, cooking oil, not motor oil, cooking oil, and it's just a way to keep it from being poured into the sewer lines, storm sewer line, whatever. So Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., folks can drop off cooking oil, and there'll be a receptacle for them to place it in. And also wanted to just remind folks that our hardworking Pride Commission is organizing the Prairie Path cleanup, and I believe that's coming up Saturday, April 30th from 9 a.m. to 12.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Great. Just a side note, I'm glad you mentioned the commissions. We are working on figuring out where we still have holes on the commissions, because we have some commissions like the commission that Trustee Wagner mentioned, Environmental Concerns Commission, where there's 3 openings. And so we're kind of doing an inventory of where we're at in terms of which commissions need new commissioners, those that want to be reappointed. So we're going to be doing another wave of appointments and reappointments, hopefully in the near future, as we go through all of that to try to organize what's left. So thank you for that. Didn't realize you needed 3. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in serving on the Environmental Concerns Commission, by all means, let us know. You can fill out a form online, and we can take care of you there. So hopefully we'll get all these other appointments and reappointments taken care of soon. So thank you for that. Okay. With that, Manager Keener, what do you have for us tonight? Manager's report.
I received an email from DuPage County that they are going to have their DuPage County River Sweep again this year on Saturday, May 21st from 9 a.m. to noon. And they're looking for some volunteers, so if you're interested, you can visit the site, theconservationfoundation.org/sweep. So again, May 21st, 9 a.m. to noon. Our local VFW, I promised to mention this, our local VFW has a Celebrate St. Patrick's Day this Thursday, March 17th, They're going to be cooking corned beef with all the fixings. Carry-out's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and then dine-in is 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Wanted to quickly give residents and the board just a quick update on our snow and ice control report for 2015-2016. For the season, staff responded to 12 events, used approximately 510 tons of salt for 33.5 inches of snow and ice. So right now we have approximately 1,000 tons of salt in reserve. We're going to receive our final allotment from our purchasing program through the state of Illinois. Currently, the Village of Villa Park is using beet heat concentrate. This liquid is more environmental friendly pre-wetting agent than calcium chloride, and it should reduce the village's salt usage by 10%. So the reduced salt usage will have a substantial cost savings to the village as well. So we'll have about 1,000 tons left this year, and we'll purchase 1,000 tons in the next fiscal year. So we have 2,000 tons on reserve for next winter. And President Bullwinkle and board, Chief Rakosnik's been asking me for about the last 10 days if he could come to the podium and mention that he has a number of firefighters reaching their 20th anniversary. So Chief Ron and I want to recognize these individuals. So Ron, if you'd come up and kind of name off the individuals which started almost on the same day. Yes, yes. Here's the list of you provided.
Thank you for leaving me out of that.
All right, okay.
Yeah, for the record. Thank
For the record, Lieutenant Ken Sharapata, and all of these guys started in 1996. So they've all been together. They've all been promoted about the same time. So Lieutenant Ken Sharapata, Lieutenant John Razut, Lieutenant Mike Barton, Lieutenant Jamie Bickley, and Lieutenant Chris Gillen. Five of our 6 lieutenants are right there. So what an outstanding job they've done, and but all at the same time. It's just it's pretty interesting.
It is.
Hopefully they won't retire all at the same time. Worry about. But anyways, congratulations to them. So
Yes.
they've done a great job, and they've been great officers. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, they have pretty good leadership, so if I may say so myself. Yeah, it's been great.
And Your Honor, and board, and folks at home, I'd like to point out that Chief Ron did not wear a sweater this evening.
Oh, jeez.
And with that, I pass, Your Honor.
A quick explanation on that. He gets teased for wearing his blue sweater. His little, it's just a real comfortable sweater. He likes to wear it. Doesn't have it on tonight, but he gets teased quite a bit about it. Apparently now, tonight in front of everybody. So you're a good sport. You're a good sport about that. Okay, item number 9, Village Attorney's Report. That's a tough act to follow. Okay, item number 10 on the formal. Consider executive closed session, A5 ILCS 120-2, C5, purchase or lease of property, B5 ILCS 120-2, C6, sale or lease of property, and C5 ILCS 120-2, C21, discussion of closed session minutes. Motion to convene to executive session?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you. Have a second over here?
Madam
Anybody?
President.
Okay, Trustee Kazone. All righty. Let's do a roll call vote on exec session.
Okay, Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, at this point, we are going to convene into exec session, and we will adjourn following exec session. So, thanks, Villa Park.